Hello, my beautiful people. So this is the video, the opening video for the clearing cohort for the month of February. And this one is all about love. So yes, it's a cliche because obviously I'm releasing this on Valentine's Day. And actually that was a complete coincidence. It didn't come about as I expected it to. There was another topic that I had Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome to the opening video for the clearing cohort for the month of February. This one is all about love, relationship, and partnerships. And so, if you have ever had any situations arise with the love sector, then this is the clearing cohort for you. As I said, every month they're going to have a different theme. And interestingly enough, I did have a different theme picked out for this one, but as it so happened, I needed to move that one to the next month. So, it'll be interesting to see what comes up with that. And with that said, I'm going to get straight into it. So, when it comes to love and relationships, so the word love has so many attachments to it, right? And so the word love itself, in terms of its official meaning, is a very strong feeling or a liking or caring for somebody or something, right? And especially a member of your family or a friend or a partner. For some people, it can be a pet or an animal. For some people, it can be a place, right? Love is a really powerful emotion, and it's an emotion that's created untold joy in our lives. It's also created untold heartache for a lot of us. And love is anything from the deep, passionate kiss and sexual connection that you feel for a partner and a lover, and right the way through to the deeply nurturing and nourishing and caring touch and the loving touch that comes from a parent or somebody who is in your family that really deeply cares for you. When love takes hold, it's really not hard to smile in someone's presence, to not feel the rush of endorphins, and even the connection of kinship and family, right? And even chosen family. It doesn't always have to be by blood. Many of you out there in my community, your relationships, especially with family, are somewhat tumultuous. And so you have effectively created a family or found a chosen family, as the saying goes. Love is a driving and powerful force, and it can be incredibly sweet and light, just like honey or sunlight, but it can also be deep, dense, and heavy, like treacle. And sometimes, unfortunately and sad to say, it can also be dark and heavy, right? Like, love can and does empower us. It fills us up. When you're really in it, you don't eat, right? It's just normal. You don't really feel like you need to. Just like when you've lost it, love can nourish and nurture, and it can heal, right? We know this to be true. If it's expressed emotionally, verbally, physically, right? It's in a touch, it's in a look, it's our pupils dilate, as it said, when we're in love. And yet, this powerful and driving and beautiful emotion and force can also confuse us. It can stress us out, and it can even, sometimes feel like a punishing factor. What we do to ourselves, what we allow others to do to us through and for and by love, can at times be devastating. I think we all know that, right? Our early experiences of love and connection and intimacy, of really feeling, from the depths, effectively, all of this informs and shapes the way, all of us in ways that we really can't sort of fathom. They're also often very lingering effect of the relationship style that we have when it comes to our early sort of experiences of love, right? So our childhood, how our parents acted towards each other, what kind of relationships our parents found themselves in consistently if there was more than one. What we allowed people to do for us and to us, what we do to others, all of this comes very much from these early relationships. And if the early examples of those relationships, parents or closest family members or primary caregivers, are damaging or destructive, we can receive messages that love is these things, right? So if we see our mother go through a really abusive relationship, verbally, mentally, physically, we might get the message that actually this is okay, right? So from a feminine perspective, okay, well, this is how men treat us, and that's okay, right? From a masculine perspective, this is how I'm supposed to treat my partner, my wife, etc. There was a broad range of relationships. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more as I move forward. But what I'm talking about here is these early messages of love that we pick up. We may not always know it, but we will, in many ways, go on to recreate the experience for ourselves with partners, with friends, with co-workers even. Now, do we love our friends, all of our friends and our co-workers? No, not necessarily, and maybe not even necessarily in the way that you're thinking, but when you spend enough time with somebody, getting to know them, understanding them, and seeing something very similar, and something very human within them, something sets in, right? Even the ones that you supposedly hate, right, will awaken something in you because with time spent, emotion and connections will grow. We recognize the human in each other. And, at base level, that's actually a really beautiful thing, but it can also be quite challenging. What this usually translates into is a series of emotions or rigid ideas or expressions that don't really serve us because they're on autopilot. They're an expression of a relationship that partially formed you. We're also in a society, in society in general, to be fair, disadvantaged, right? We all come from some form of religious background or programming where we're told that God is love, but you're going to burn in an eternal hellfire for any mistake that you make. That can give you some really, as many of you know, I was, my early years when I went to Catholic school, so I've got all of the Catholic guilt and the Catholic shame, and then I had the gay shame and all of that kind of stuff, right? I've been there. I know how this stuff can kind of really take hold. We're told that love should be unconditional, and then we're bombarded with messages that totally counter that sentiment. And amongst all of this, we've got the greatest love that many, and rarely, if ever, sort of delve into because of all of this external crap, quite frankly, the love of self. And I'm not talking about people who pluck and preen and surgery up. Not that there's anything wrong with those things. That's absolutely a way of valuing and honoring and even caring for and loving yourself, right? But that's surface level. I'm talking about being able to hold yourself in arm or hand internally and tell yourself in the mirror, I love you and I've got you, right? That ability to really look out for and feel that depth of love for yourself is so, so very important. And in astrology, when we're talking about the second house, yes, we talk about money and resources and all of those things. But at base level, that second house in your chart really represents what you value, your self-esteem, how you really value yourself, and whether you have access to that or not easily is, will obviously your chart will tell you a lot about that, but it's an important distinction to sort of mention when we're talking about astrology. So if you've been with me long enough, you know I am very passionate about energy work, and many of you know that my journey into energy work started with Reiki, right? With Reiki and Sikhem. The Terramai Reiki and Sikhem system is my lineage or my Reiki heritage, if you like. I love the work that I do, and as I always say now, moving forward, I'm at a stage where I need to take it deeper with people. Interestingly enough, Pluto moved into the sign of Aquarius. As many of you know, I'm a sun sign Aquarius. So, helping people and connecting to people and groups of people is something that, is in my blood. It's something that I feel really passionate about. And I want to help people explore themselves at a deeper level. And I no longer just want to read people's cards and say, well, this is going to happen and this is going to come up. I really want to use the skills that I have to help them transcend that. I want to use my tarot. I want to use my astrology. I want to use the numerology and the energy work to really help people delve deeper and effectively give them more tools to really figure out their stuff. So love, when it goes right, is a beautiful experience, right? But it's not perfect. Our early ideas about that are shaping so much of what we experience. And when we can overcome that, what it really does allow us to do is love both ourselves and others that much deeper, right? This four-letter word, as a part of a three word phrase and an 8 letters combined has built up and raised to the ground more than just relationships. It's launched wars, it's torn families apart, it's empowered pregnant mothers and 8-year-old grandmothers to lift cars off of their children or loved ones. Love is a powerful force, and when we are fully in it and we can really hold space for it within ourselves, it makes us and everybody around us that much better. What do you think is possible for you if you are able to let that river flow freely, both within you and out from you, right? Without all of the trappings and the crap that comes, from effectively all of our upbringings in some way, shape, or form, right? Now, the numerological energy of the word love, interestingly enough, this is going to bake your noodle for some of you. The number, so we've got L, which is equal to the number 3. O is the number 6. V is the number 4. 5 is the number 5. When we combine that, it gives us 18. We can simplify that. It comes down to the number 9. Okay. The number 9 is truly the most humanitarian of the numbers. I would argue this with the master number 11. A lot of people say 33, but 33 isn't humanitarian because it's effectively, in many people that I've seen, to be completely honest with you, they've forgotten what it is to be human, and very often they run away from it, right? It's a powerful energy, and the number 9 I've called, if you've been with me long enough, you'll have heard me say that the numbers 1 to 9, these are the human numbers. 11, 22, and 33, those master numbers, they exist in a realm all their own. This is where the cycle comes to a close and is completed. And in many ways, for that reason, 9 is kind of a perfect number, but it's not perfect, right? There's really no such thing as perfection, as we know by now. For all of this, it is still, interestingly enough, the number 9 is a number of the mind. And so, to upset some of you here, love, which is seen as a feminine thing or soft, and all of those kinds of words that come with it, and all the negative associations, at least in the numerological sense, while the domain is Venus, it's a masculine energy because 9 energy is a masculine number and it's ruled by Mars. Now, it's fair to say that it's probably the most in some ways probably the most feminine sort of masculine number. But when you think of this in terms of like the energetics of it, this comes down to something that is decidedly, a thought pattern and process that is infused with emotion. So, which actually leads me really nicely to when you think about the ancient Greek mythos. Eros was known as the god of love, right? Yes, that was sexual love, but there were different types of love to the ancient Greeks. They had agape, which is the essence of true unconditional love. And in Greek, or certainly in modern Greek, we've got a saying agapimo, which means like my love, right? And a lot of parents will say it to children, grandparents will say it to their grandchildren, even partners and lovers will say it as well. It's become a bit of a catch-all, right? Eros was known as romantic and sexual love, that intimate, passionate connection. Philia, right? So affectionate or friendly love, which interestingly enough, the iphilimo is like in Greek would be like my friend. Storge, which is familiar love, right? This would be the kind of love where there's like a familiarity there. So it's maybe not necessarily the strongest type, and this is the type of love, etc., that we have with co-workers. Then you've got mania, right? Obsessive love. I think we've all been there at least once in our lives, right? We've wanted and pined and craved for somebody that we either couldn't have, that was unavailable. Maybe it was pie in the sky, whatever the case might be. Maybe it was young love, like Ludus, playful love, that puppy love. Pragma, which is enduring love, right? The love that lasts, that stands the test of time, that we write poets and, poetry and sonnets and, myths about, right? It's all in there. It's all really infused with love in so many ways. And then we've got Philusha, which is self-love. This total and sort of more complete understanding of love as a powerful force And it gives you these different types, and yet the early depictions of what we understand to be love are still shaping us, right? So when you can sort of separate all of this out and see it more for what it is and clear this in your energy system, how you move forward and either gain a relationship or stand within a relationship is going to become that much more powerful. If you are ready to do the work, if you want to delve deeper into yourself and get a deeper, more profound sense of yourself, this is the clearing cohort for you, right? We are going to explore love and your connection to it. We're going to have a look at, was your childhood racked with bad relationship energy? Does that stuff need to be worked out of your energy system at this point? Do you constantly attract the same kind of partner, but in a different guise? Are you eternally single? Do you find it hard to trust? Maybe your parents had the perfect relationship, but you just don't seem to be able to get it right. And that happens sometimes, right? Maybe it's not the early stuff. Maybe it's things that we've picked up along the way from relationships that we've had since then. Maybe it's just having to, work through the stress of needing to find the perfect relationship like your parents. Maybe you feel ready, but you're scared because you know there's work to do. This is for you. If energy work, tarot, astrology, numerology are things that you have been using as guiding tools, if you want to utilize them to delve deeper into this work for yourself, you really want to pick apart the love sector of your life, this is the cohort for you. The last one that we did on fear was incredible. I was so fortunate to have a wonderful bunch of souls. And when I say they did the work, I mean, it was incredible. Some of the shifts that took place were mind-blowing for me, and life-changing for them, right? I've got an email from one of the cohort that just, like my heart was like, like so full. It's crazy. So, since love equates to the energy of the number 9 in terms of its numerology, how might the life paths interpret or encounter this? If you're a life path 1, this might show up as loneliness. They say 1 is the loneliest number after all. If it's number 2, this could be about unconditional love. Where to find it, how to gain it. Are you able to give it? If you're a life path 3, this could really be about self-love. If you are a life path 4, this could be about grounded or karmic love in some way. If you're a life path 5, this could really be about your relationship to sexual and intimate love. If you're a life path 6, this could be about obsessive love. If you're a life path 7, this could be about disruptive love. If you are a life path 8, optimistic love. If you're a life path 9, maybe this is about equality within love and relationships. If you're a life path 11, maybe this is about true love. If you're a life path 22, maybe this is about karmic love for you as well. And if you're a life path 33, maybe that path to unconditional love is what you really have been looking to embark on all of this time. So lots to unpack. The clearing cohort, this one goes live on Saturday, the 24th of February. It starts at 10:30 a.m. UK time. The investment for this is £225. It's about a 4 to 4.5 hour session. So it's a lot of time. It's very deep. There are 8 of you. There's only 8 spaces in each cohort. There's a specific reason for this. One, because there's a lot of work that I do. You get sent a whole bunch of notes before the session even starts. And it's a really deep session, right? Like there's no getting around it. There's no surface level pony here, right? So be prepared for that. This is for you. And I will say, if you can't be on camera, if you're not really open to sharing with or in, in a closed space, very safe space. If you can't be in a quiet place alone to do this work, it's not for you. All right. This session is not for you if you can't sort of have those things in place. Don't let that worry you. There's going to be other things that I release this year. I've got loads of stuff that I'm working on. As you know, I'm always in that metaphorical spiritual kitchen. My Aquarius mad scientist self is always doing something. So if you feel like this love stuff is all for you and you are ready to delve into it and sort of really go on to experience love free of the baggage and the trappings, certainly at an energetic and therefore a mental level, then this is the clearing cohort for you, and it would be my honor to serve you on this journey. All right. So, with that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Take care and hope to see you soon.